NZXT Cam. Monitor your games while playing. To learn more about it, check out the description. Hey everyone, it is the Angry Honey Badger here, and it is in fact time for Badger's picks for the week of June 28th. We're going to see who's free this week and which 4 champions I'm going to recommend. Free this week, there will be Ashe, Blitzcrank, Corki, Echo, Heimerdinger, Kha'Zix, Rengar, Riven, Taric, and Yasuo. And for my first recommendation for this week, we're going to give it over to Dad Ashe. Big fan of Ashe right now. Mentioned her in the OP picks for the most recent patch, although there should be a new one tomorrow, correct? I believe so. But we'll have to see if that happens anyways. Ashe is pretty awesome right now. We're seeing her get a lot of play in the LCS too. It's the brutal, awesome engagements that she brings to the team. You may have seen Sneaky pick up a pentakill with her this last week. You may have also seen Fabi land almost 100% of all of his ultimates. It's just insane. Anyways, it's a really good way to set up fights. Her stun on her arrow, as you know, is increased based on the distance traveled, up to a maximum of, I believe, 3.5 seconds. So if you land some from decent range, you have a huge opportunity with time to capitalize on that for your team. It's really good. Besides that, she has pretty good damage, and she's just got really good utility for team fights. Now, I know some of you are like, why the hell would you recommend Ashe? Who doesn't own Ashe? You play her in the damn tutorial, and she costs no money. It's Badger's picks. It's not play the most expensive champion this week. It's play who I think you should play, because it's the Badger's picks. That's what it's called. That's the name of the video. Come on. So I'm saying you should play her because she's really strong, and she's a good pick that I think a lot of people sometimes might look past because she is older and cheaper. So try her out this week. My second recommendation is going to go over to Corki. I just did A to Z Corki jungle, which was interesting to say the least. What I like about Corki is the fact that they buffed him after the changes to Triforce, kind of technically took a little bit of power out of him, but now that I've played it a tiny bit more, I'm actually liking the change now. I know he did sacrifice some crit chance, which wouldn't have been a terrible thing on him, for some cooldown reduction and some more attack speed, but realistically, Corki was never building any more attack speed than the Zeal that was inside Trinity Force previously. Now that it has that Stinger in there, he's getting real attack speed that he can utilize a little bit, not tons of attack speed, he doesn't really need any more, but now it's actually got him to a place where it actually is better than previously attack speed wise. Like I said, you did lose the crit, but to make up for that, in my opinion, he does get that cooldown reduction, and that is what makes it technically better in the long run now for him. So Triforce is still a really good pickup. Also, the other little buffs that he got have helped him out too, just to make him a little bit better champion, because he did see some nerfs because he was the strongest ADC potentially when all of the ADC reworks happened at the beginning of the season. So Corki is still incredibly fun to play. I think he's a blast to play personally, and he's very strong right now. And pick up that Triforce, it's still good. Try him out. My third recommendation for the week is going to go over to Echo. Now, Echo I can recommend again because he's not stupid like he was previously. Don't play him, though, as a full tank. I mean, you can still do it, but it really is not as rewarding as it was. He's not going to have the damage output that he had. Granted, he's still going to be sticky, and he's still going to be able to get away from situations with his ultimate, although you can do that as AP Echo too, so that's not really a big thing. But regardless, he can still tank up fights really, really effectively as Tank Echo, but more importantly is his scaling on AP Echo is better, meaning he does more damage, and that's always a good thing. I always liked him in mid lane. He obviously jungles just fine. We know that. If you're going to jungle him, I'd probably jungle him as a tank. If you're going to play him in lane, probably mid, I'd play him as a mage, and I would buy lots of ability power to get all of those new increased ratios to get all that more increased damage. So play Echo this week if you're looking for someone to play. And my final recommendation for this week is gonna go over to Heimerdinger. Whatever happened to Heimerdinger? Where did he go? He's honestly not that bad, and he still has a really pretty solid win rate, to be honest. That's not always just necessarily a good reason to play a champion, but it's not a terrible one either. Literally while I'm talking right now, I'm going to check to see what his win rate is. Actually, it's gone down a little bit, but it's gone up during this last patch. I think he needs more love. that's why I'm recommending him mostly. He does deal plenty of damage, actually more than the average, you could say, for the role. It's the turrets, which is really, really helpful. Also, he's going to find himself to be a little bit more impactful now, since the tanks are starting to fall out of the meta. All these squishy characters, anybody gets close to his turrets, they're going to start to take way more damage. Right now, out of all the champions in his role, he actually has the 5th highest damage numbers for that role. So it's really, really positive and really, really good. He's not bad. He does take a little bit of time, honestly, to play. I mean, granted, your turrets, yes, they can do work by themselves, but you still need to be impactful with your other abilities, obviously. That kind of goes just, you know, in general, just be good at that. But play him. I like him. He's kind of fun, kind of goofy, a little bit off meta. And honestly, if you are good at him in lane, you can push your lane for days. And you can actually take a lot of objectives and turrets and actually help with objective control too. So more reasons to play Heimerdinger this week if you don't have him. Those are the champions that are free this week. Those are the 4 I'm recommending. As for the other ones, we'll go over them briefly. As for Blitzcrank, pretty standard stuff. You can pick him and play him. He's a pretty standardly decent support, and a lot of people hate him because of the hooks. Keep a minion between you and him. Who cares? He's really not that difficult to counter, in my opinion. Although, if he lands a great hook late, it can turn a fight, obviously, but just pay attention. As for everyone else, Kha'Zix. Honestly, he's coming back up in power. I like that. He's getting more play. He's being way more impactful than he was probably over the last previous year. So that's good. He's much better. As for Rengar, never really got big into Rengar. He's not bad by any means, but if he falls off a little bit, it's not fun. But obviously, he can, you know, win fights. If he does get ahead in some cases, but he's still somewhat easy to shut down. Riven still does plenty of damage in the top lane. Take Ignite, go aggressive at rank 1 or 2, pick up First Blood, snowball the crap out of your lane. Taric, honestly haven't played him much since his rework, but I never really cared for the champion. He's not bad, but there's just other better supports right now, so I wouldn't really recommend him. And there's Yasuo, who's also free this week, who I don't actually care about as a champion. I find him to be the most annoying person in the game. But that's just me, because I think Yasuo players are boring people. Anyways, those are the champions that are free. If there's a box around any of their portraits, you can click on it. It will take you to some sort of video for that champion in which you can watch to your enjoyment. But I wish all of you the very best of luck this week on the Fields of Justice.